Yo, what is up, everyone? Curios here, and today we're going to cover both Summer Hina and Summer Iori in the same video. I'm going to try and keep this under 10 minutes, keep it short and sweet. Hit those chapters down below where we hit the stats, hit the EX skill, hit the sub skills, all that goodness, and then I'll give my final rating at the end on who you should pull and who you shouldn't pull. If you guys are new to this channel and you want to help out this channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I do appreciate it, and let's go. Okay, we're going to record this again because Papa forgot to turn on the mic. Really hits you in the no-no spot when that happens. But let's carry on. All right, first up on the board, Summer Hina. Let's go, speedrun style. Okay, so let's start with her stats. She is an explosive type with heavy armor. She is slated affinity for outdoors, neutral to urban, and then negative to indoors, which works perfectly for chitin, by the way. Spoiler alert. She has a machine gun, has a hat, hairpin, and watch. So she's built for DPS. That's what we like to see. Heck yes. Move on over to the stats. We did deck her out to level 73 because we are moving to 73 with 5-star. Brings her attack to 3465. Pretty good for a machine gun. Pretty average for where it's supposed to be. HP, pretty decent. Around 20,000 before hairpin and everything like that. Good amount of HP. I do like the little bit amount of defense, so she can take a hit or two, so she could be good in PvP. Very good. Crit rate, a little bit lower than average. And then every other stat, nothing to really write home about here. Good across the board. Let's move on down to her skills. Let's talk about that EX skill real quick. EX skill is built for chitin. Absolutely amazing. It's 5 enemies. I mean, they couldn't have scripted that any better, right? 232% damage up to 441% damage at a 3 cost. That's so good for cycling. So good for cycling. Absolutely amazing. So before we talk about the rest of her skills, I'm just going to give a little bit of a spoiler here. Summer Hina just makes your life a lot easier in some of these raids with the amount of AoE she can do. Yes, can Mutsuki do it? Yes, can Aru do it? Yes, can Hibiki and Akari do it? I had to think. My brain was like, yes, they can, but they require a lot more investment, and you might have to bring 2 instead of 1. So Summer Hina really does make your life a lot easier. Let's move on down to the normal skill. Every 20 seconds deals 226% damage to a single enemy, stunning them for up to 2 seconds. Very good in raid. Actually pretty good in PvP as well. So that's really good. Increases passive skill, increases critical rate up to 26%. We do love that. Being able to crit easier with a AoE 3 costs. Mwah. Mwah. Very good. And then her sub skill is really where her bread and butter is, minus her EX skill. And that would bring her to attack power 16.5% stacking 5 times. So assuming you hit 5 people with it, you get that stacking, which is really good because it stacks with other attack buffs, which is why she's able to whip out a ton of damage. And that's good. And we'll talk about her skill priority when we get to the overview chapter in just a little bit here. And then her unique weapon is the Destroyer. Love it. Increases CC strength. I mean, it's actually good. I say poo poo, but it's good. It's not as fancy as 26% extra crit, right? Really good. Brings her outdoor affinity to SS. Let's roll on through to the overview. All right, let's start off with raids. She's amazing in chitin, not so good in Hero Ninmas, and is potentially good in cheese. Now, I'm going to say that with a lot of quotations that you can't see. That's really if you just need to plug her into your phase 1 AoE team and you're just struggling and throwing teams against cheese. Bringing us over to general content, she is great in campaign. She is great in bounties. Not so good in commissions, but there could be a case for it. And she's actually really good in PvP as well, but she kind of takes the same spot as Iori. So if you have Iori or not, you may be able to plug her in. Finally, that brings us to the overall skill priority would be EX skill, the sub skill, the passive to normal. An example of how I would build her would be 5, 7, 7, 10, with focusing on that sub skill to going to 10 first. She has great AoE, low CP cost AoE, and is good in several areas. Now, the issues I do have with her is that she does have a range issue. If you do have her in the wrong positioning or an enemy gets a little too far away, she can only target 5 targets, which is okay, in all honesty. And she has heavy investment, meaning that you really need to bring her the 5, 7, 10, 10 for her to really start cracking off. Similar boat as Summer Hina, just a little bit different skill sets, but she is an explosive type, has armor type of special affinities, the same as Summer Hina, with a positive outdoor affinity, neutral urban affinity, and negative indoor affinity. She has a sniper rifle, so that means she's going to be pew-pewing pretty good with an auto attacker. She does have shoes, badge, and watch. Very, very awkward to me that she has those, and we're going to try and rationalize that in just a second. Not really ideally, I think, the gear I wanted to see. But let's move on over to her character stats. She does have 5-star, level 73. She does have 4,000 attack, which is about the same as her regular Iori version. Very good. About 20 points extra crit rate than normal characters, but sniper rifles typically have more crit rate anyways. Lower HP, which makes her gear really awkward to me because they're already compensating for it. Defense, pretty typical across the board. Evasion, okay. Everything else is fine. Now, before we get into the stats real quick, let me talk about that gear. So, you know, Summer HINA could be used in PvP and a lot of other places as well, and we'll talk about that in the synopsis. But her gear is very, very weird that they're trying to make up her HP with those boots and badge, even though they could have just given her more base HP and just made her an attacker. I guess they didn't want to make her too strong because her synergy is pretty crazy. So let's talk about those skills real quick. Her EX skill is a 4 cost, deals anywhere between 463% damage to 880% damage to enemies in a circle area. The problem I have with this is that the circle area is pretty small. I think it's even smaller than Aru's. I would need to verify that, but I know it is very small, so it's very situational. And her EX skill being a 4 cost, and it does increase damage. It's actually not her bread and butter. You could actually probably play her for almost the rest of your career with EX1, which is crazy. And we'll talk about that now. It's because of her skills. Her normal skill, every 25 seconds, deals 297% damage to a single enemy, additionally doing 66% continuous chill damage for 20 seconds. Very, 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 very good. Passive skill increases another 26% attack. We do love attack. And sub skill, and this is really the bread and butter. This is really the bread and butter. When attacking, there's a 25% chance to inflict continuous chill damage equivalent to 64% of the attack for 20 seconds, cooldown 10 seconds. This is huge. So the fact that you almost never have to cast her EX skill, because her EX skill has almost zero synergy with the rest of her build, you could just bring her in just to be an auto attacker, and she's going to do some really good damage. That's really her biggest perk. You could bring her in the second phase chitin and just have her auto attack and just, you know, put her in a corner. Don't worry about it. Let's go on down to her skill upgrade. She is Gehenna again, so if you're pulling for Summer HINA and Summer HIORI, you're going to be stretching pretty thin on Gehenna skill books. So, but your skill upgrade would be prioritized to Summer HINA, and maybe your tech books would be split between them, and ideally you get them each to maybe 7s across the board if you did pull for both. Unique weapon, Crack Shot, increases her outdoor affinity to double S, increases her attack further, increases her attack even further. Very good. Very good. We can't say that's bad because we just like attack, and attack's amazing. So let's move on over to her synopsis and give us the rundown on her, essentially what she's good at and what she's not good at. Let's go. All right, let's get started. So for Chitin, she is very good, but I have her as a exclamation point as well because she's not technically needed. You could get by without her. Hero Ninmis, you could technically do it on a second team if you need to, and on Bina if you're throwing 3 or 4 teams at it. So she's really not per se needed across the board. Moving on to general content, she is good in campaign. I think almost any student's really going to help you on campaign. Bounties, she could be very good at as well. Commissions, not so much, and PvP, not so much either. I'm sure she has a use case here or there, but it would be a extreme plug and play. All right, that brings us to overall. So her skill priority is normal equals passive equals sub. They all kind of are very important for her for synergizing. And then her EX skill really is not that needed, and you might upgrade it later as you have extra bucks. An example would be 1 10 10 10. And I apologize for putting 3 10s there, but they're all really super important to make her viable. She has great single target DPS. She has additional dot damage, which is great. And then you really don't need to use her EX skill for her to be a master assassin. Unfortunately, she does have subpart EX, requires 3 10 skills to really make her pop off, and she's super situational. All right, guys, I tried to keep it under 10 minutes. I don't think I accomplished that. So let's give the final rating. So we're going to do both the ratings across the board. For Summer HINA, she gets a 4 out of 5 pull rating. And it's really slated a little bit higher because she is limited, but there's a lot of limiteds. The reason I did this is because she isn't absolutely needed, but she does help out with chitin. Now, for Iori, she does get a 2.5 out of 5. She is super situational, requires a ton of investment to really pop off. And the only place you're really going to bring her is chitin, which I know a lot of students are only for raids and stuff like that, but it's just, it doesn't feel right. But if you do pull for Summer HINA, you get close to that pity, you might as well pull both just to have them in your roster. And if you're trying to do extreme this rotation, you're probably going to need both, even though I think my second team I'm not going to need Summer Iori, but we'll see what happens. Guys, I hope that answered some questions. That was a lot of information. Let me know how you felt about the video. Comment down below. Did I hit it on the mark? Did I not hit it on the mark? Do you have any additional questions? I will answer them, and I will see you guys on the next video. Oh, and before I go, make sure you guys do join the Discord. We're trying to help people get into different clubs, as you can now borrow students. So jump into the Discord, post under our Blue Archive Club recruitment, and the more people we get in, the more clubs we can make and try and get you into some active clubs. Anyways, guys, peace out. Fist bump from me to you.